Relationships are by far the most important aspect of your journey as you go on this spiritual walk, as you take this spiritual path. You need to understand that there are elements of who you need to portray, what you need to give in order to cultivate great and amazing relationships. And I'm going to give you three examples, three things, three characteristics that's going to help you into really cultivating an amazing relationship. These things are so fundamental that even if you're not in a relationship, they are important for you to actually portray and live out. Because it surprises me how people look for relationships, but they're not cultivating certain aspects of being basically a responsible person, a person who is connected with themselves, honest with themselves, and clear about what it is that they want, even in life in general. Now, you may not have all the answers of life, but you ultimately should know who you are, what it is that you want from a basic relationship. Now, these three things doesn't pertain to only romantic relationships. They can pertain to a casual relationship at work. They can pertain to dealing with classmates at school. They can pertain to relationships, romantic or even just sexual. They can pertain to, business partners even. But you have to acknowledge that when you are cultivated, when you are connected with who you are, that directly interferes or it enhances the relationships you have with people. You see, there's a reason why certain people just connect instantly with others and have a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships. And there's some people who have very few. There's a reason why some people can connect with people instantly. And there's a reason why some people just make enemies and people just don't like them. And what I want to share with you is these three basic things that's going to help you to understand how to create a relationship that will cultivate something beneficial for you. And it may be just beneficial just from a sense of how you feel about yourself in that engagement, but it also may benefit you in getting something from that person. Now, I'm not talking about manipulating people, but we have to honestly acknowledge that relationships are about exchange. They can be about exchanging energy. They can be about exchanging experiences, being, camaraderie, rivalry. They can be simply something that helps you to be a better person. Is ultimately the nature of relationships. And so, again, let's get into these three things. The first thing I want to say is probably the most difficult thing that people struggle with. And the reason why is because it takes a real hard, honest look at yourself. And you have to be at a place where you can acknowledge the possibility of being better, and for some reason, people think that doing this means that they have to accept being wrong. And though sometimes it is true, the best way to look at it is simply the opportunity to be better. And that is accountability. You see, taking full accountability over you, your life, your thoughts, your feelings, what you say, what you do. When you do that, not only do people truly get to acknowledge you, they get to see you, they get to trust you, they get to honor the fact that you are somebody who is upstanding, somebody who is honest, direct, and clear. They get to see you and they get to understand, okay, this is somebody that is trustworthy. This is somebody that I can work with or that I know is reliable or has integrity. The issue is most people, when they think about accountability, they often think fault. They think if I am 100% accountable for everything that happens in my life, everything that has happened in my life, then that is taking blame and fault for every bad thing that happens. Well, if you don't want to take blame and fault for every bad thing that happens, then don't take the credit for every good thing that happens, right? We want to take the credit for the good things, but we want to direct and push and project everything that's bad onto somebody else or something else. That's one thing. But also, people don't realize that because, yes, somebody did something to me in my past and it hurt me and it traumatized me, and this is unfortunate, this is not about what they did. This is about what and how we see what happened. what and how we see what is happening. It is about shifting our perspective. It is about not owning what somebody else did to you, but owning what you did, or owning maybe something you could have changed. And in some cases, you couldn't have changed anything. Some cases, you did the best thing you could. And you have to be okay with that as well. That is also a part of accountability, is really taking a look at this possibility that either you were wrong, either you could have just been, done something better, and see that, okay, there are opportunities to learn even from past experiences that caused me hurt and trauma. But now, staying in the present moment, you get to take ownership of where you're at, what decisions you have to make, making the best decision possible, and then just simply moving forward, realizing maybe this was a good decision, maybe I could have made a better decision, but not coming from a place of I made the worst decision, I made a bad decision. Because we're not coming from a place of lack when it comes to accountability. We're coming from a place of just simply owning your power, taking the opportunity to say, this is the best I can do, and I'm okay with that. And seeing that whatever you decided, the result is an opportunity for you to learn for the next time you need to make a decision. So either way, the point of view is about empowering yourself and seeing the opportunity for growth, because that's what this life is about. It's an opportunity for growth, and everything that we do carries with it that same opportunity. So accountability is very important, because when you are accountable and you're somebody who owns your role in everything, and people get to see that, then they can trust you. Then they respect you. You see, there's nothing worse than somebody who just can't take accountability for doing something either wrong or acknowledging, okay, I could have done something better. I could have done this instead of this, right? So for you, it's important to just take accountability for your part and expand on how big your part is. Because when you see how big your part is, then that gives you this opportunity to realize that you can actually control way more than you can imagine. And that is a very powerful place, very powerful point of view. All right. So the second thing I want to talk about is vulnerability. Vulnerability is about just being open, being honest, sharing maybe deep aspects or deep desires with a person whom you wish to create a lasting, strong relationship with. Now, this may not happen with just a random person out on the street, or maybe an associate or coworker. But if you wish to establish deep connections with people, then it's important to share with them aspects of you that is on a deeper level. When you do that, that creates safety for the other person. So when you want to create deep relationships with another individual, and you see that the opportunity is right to do so, you can share something with that person that is so deep within you that, it creates a sense of connection with that person, because they can tell that it's not something you just want to share with everybody. And so when you do that, it creates an opportunity for them, or creates a safe space for them to actually share something vulnerable with you. Now, here's the thing with that. When it comes to relationships, the best thing is to manage your expectations. So even though you may be sharing something with somebody, it's almost like when, somebody says, I love you. The best thing to do is to not expect them to say, I love you too, or I love you back. In fact, the best thing to do when you say something like that, when you share something vulnerable, share it just purely out of your desire to share it. So when you say something like, I love you, be authentic about it. If you love them, does it matter if they love you back? If you love them, does it matter if they say it or not? If they say it or not, or if they don't say it, does that mean that they don't love you? No. So be clear that when you share something, share it authentically from your heart, simply because, not because you're manipulating them and trying to get something back or get something in return. Though, yes, relationships are about an exchange, be mindful that exchange doesn't happen immediately. Be mindful that exchange doesn't always look like what you think it's supposed to look like. So be open to evolving, adapting, being shaped, molding, going with the flow of that relationship and what that exchange is, because it can change moment to moment, relationship to relationship, over time. So be mindful about that. But with vulnerability, you get to share, and you get to share in a place that frees you, because we hold a lot of things inside. So with being vulnerable, you get to share from a place that you can't normally share from. And so the vulnerability frees you up. It frees you up to let go of things you've been holding on to for a while. All right. The third and the final thing is transparency. And transparency relates to vulnerability, and it also relates to accountability. With transparency, it's about being clear. It's about being honest. It's about being upfront. It's not about being aggressive. It's not about being direct. It's just simply being you, being clear about who you want, what you want, how you want to be, the things that you would like, the things that you don't like, and just being upfront about it. It's about being clear. With transparency diminishes drama. It diminishes misunderstanding. It diminishes suffering and pain, because you are just being clear, and you can do that in a very, loving, compassionate, empathetic way. All right. Some people think transparency is about keeping it real, but it's really about being honest. It's really about being compassionate. It's really about really caring about the other person's, expectations as well. So when you are clear about your point of view and what you desire, what you want, what you wish to share, then that person doesn't have the opportunity to create expectations on you, right, that aren't in alignment with who you are. And therefore, it helps them to get clear as to what they want and what they wish to share in a relationship as well. So as you sharing these three things within with your partnership, with this person, with individuals, understand that they do mix and mingle together to create a space where love can be cultivated, where connection and a bond can be created. It's not about expectations. It's not about getting something in return. It's not about manipulation. It's about connecting with an individual that's going to help you to become the best version of yourself possible. Connecting with another person that's going to help you to be your truest self, right? Without all the walls, all the blockages, all the fears, all the doubts, but to truly evolve past those things and be who you are meant to be. So I hope that helps you. Thank you so much, and continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.